The two things we've grown accustomed to during the few years the under-18 competition has been running are predictability and big margins. Well, not anymore. Last week's fixture list was full of excitement and surprises. One of the surprises was here at the Woodville Oval. Before this match, the Bulldogs had won just one for the season, down at Noarlunga Oval. The Eagles, on the other hand, only had one loss. This would be their second. Enter Steve Rusker. For the second consecutive week, Steve was voted best on ground for the Dogs. With stats that read like a cricket scoreboard, Steve once again dominated proceedings and scored a Macca's Cup MVP nomination for his troubles. 42 disposals on Saturday takes his total disposals for 2011 to 146, second only to Glenelg's Lockie Neal and Sturt's Will Painter. The boy from the Barossa brought Centrals out of defence 6 times on Saturday. To say his was a pivotal role would be somewhat of an understatement. He even had a chance to double his goals tally for the year deep in the third term. Maybe next week, Steve. Scoring his 4th and 5th goals for the season was 16-year-old Troy Menzel from the Golden Grove Football Club. A part of the 2010 under-16 squad, Troy's contribution on Saturday came at the right time. A couple of goals and, oh yeah, he was second best on the field too. The Eagles were still in this contest at the long break. Goals from Luke Dunstan and Jake Summerton made sure there was a good battle at Woodville. Nicholas Clift from the York Peninsula Football League was the pick of the bunch. Coming from the CMS Crows, that's Curramulka, Minlaton and Stansbury, his 21 disposals this week included 11 kicks and 10 handballs. But Nick's efforts weren't enough to stop the first upset of the round. To the delight of the travelling Doggies fans, it was Central District notching up its second win of the year by 30 points over the Eagles. After the jubilation sparked by last week's morale-boosting win over the Bloods, the Panthers came to Unley Oval on a high. The new belief, encouraged by coach Jason Tawney, ensured we're in for another thriller in round 7. The under-18s is where the excitement is in 2011. Not too many fingernails left at Unley last Saturday. The Panthers were ahead at the first break and at half-time, but goals to Bradley Hartman and Levi Krause would see Sturt go into the final term with a 2-point lead. That would have been right about the time we were going to air with the Bulldogs-Eagles League match last week, so you could be forgiven for racing home to watch the telly, but those who stayed at Unley to the end were in for a treat. The standout players? For Sturt it was Michael Pope. Winner of the Simon Pfeiffer Medal for the 2010 Best and Fairest, Michael was the leading possession getter at Unley with 35 disposals and 2 marks. Sturt had a number of opportunities to kill this game off in the final term. Michael's behind at the 18-minute mark put the Double Blues into the lead. They eventually hung on for the win. But the Panthers had their own stars on the day who very nearly stole this match. What a result that would have been. Best on ground for South was Jack Sutton with 24 disposals and 8 marks. With a match-high 9 incursions inside enemy territory, it's fair to say that without Jack the result would have been considerably different. And scoring goals for the Panthers was 17-year-old Zach Cameron. The 2011 Under-18 Academy member scored 3 goals on Saturday afternoon, all in the first half. 1 or 2 in the second half would have settled a few nervously beating hearts among the home fans. In the end, it came down to inaccuracy. Sturt missed chances to seal the game in the final quarter, and so did South. If Tom Jolly's 20th minute effort had gone through for a goal, then the Panthers would have been riding high on their second win of the season. But this showing was nothing to be ashamed of. A fantastic performance from last year's Wooden Spooners, but in the end Sturt was just 3 points better than South. On last week's show, we watched the drama unfold at the Prospect Oval when Glenelg got away with a 1-point victory over North Adelaide. Well, the Tigers are nothing if not entertaining because they've done it again. An absolute cliffhanger down at Brighton Road. This time it was Westies who caused the heart palpitations. A point in it at half-time, this one was going down to the wire. The Bloods went down to South the week before, ensuring they'd enter round 7 against the reigning under-18 premiers as underdogs, but they didn't play like underdogs. Patrick Barrett's 30 disposals earned him the best on ground tag. He's received best on ground votes for all but 1 round this year, and he also scored 9 goals last year from 12 matches. A good all-round performance from Patrick. On the scoreboard for West was Ryan Dykesman. From the Unley Football Club and the Metro South Junior Football League, Ryan scored 4 goals for West in round 7. They would prove invaluable for his team, none more so than this one in the final term. which levelled the scores just 2 minutes in. Another goal for Ryan 5 minutes later, and the Tiger fans were getting nervous. Another Ryan was making his kicks count on the scoreboard. Ryan Bartlett for the Tigers scored 4 goals from just 7 kicks. And the Bays were well served by 18-year-old Carl Nicholson. Carl turns 19 this year, so his days at this level are numbered. He made his day count in round 7. 4 goals for Carl in a best-on-ground performance should have been enough. But 6 West Adelaide goals in the final quarter oh so nearly got them over the line. It was Carl's goal in the 28th minute of the final term that would put Glenelg into the lead for the last time. The Bloods struggling in 8th place on the ladder, the Tigers unbeaten at the top. But for the second week in a row, they scraped home by just 1 point. The evening fixture under lights was at the Parade. North Adelaide was on a 3-game losing streak heading into this match, the last one of which at the hands of Glenelg last week when they went down by a point in a nail-biter at Prospect. Norwood was sitting in 6th place, eager to find a way back into the 5, and the home side looked good right up until the last break. 15 points up at half-time and still a goal up at three-quarter time, Norwood was ultimately beaten by its own inaccuracy in front of goal. But North coach Heath Uni won't be singing the praises of his forwards too loudly either. 5 missed opportunities in front of goal in the final quarter may have lost this game for North, but with a lion's share of possession, the result would ultimately favour the visitors. No problems with accuracy for Michael McMahon. 8 goals from 8 attempts for the 16-year-old from the Jeps Cross Football Club. We'll have a look at the leading goal scorers table in just a moment. There's no doubt Michael is securely fastened to the top. North is on the bye today, so Michael will have to wait for another week to rack up his 100th disposal for the year, and over 30% of them have been goals. That's what you want from a forward. Jake Liston was voted best on ground for North for his 30 disposals, and Norwood's Nick Shield was working hard in the ruck contests, engaged in his own battle with North's Kyle Renshaw all day. Honours pretty well even there. Jake Mazzoni was scoring the goals for Norwood. He scored 18 goals from 18 appearances last year, and Jake kicked 4 goals in this match, but unfortunately none in the final term when the Redlegs needed them most. So despite a bunch of misses in the final quarter, North would break the drought to wrap up round 7, winners by 15 points over Norwood.